Lonely Attack on the Different World, Web Novel, Chapter 102. If such coincidences are impossible, then it is an inevitability, and thus is not my fault. Day 39. Nighttime, White Weirdo Inn. As I return to my room, armorless Prez-san is also following me, so I sat her down on the bed right next to me. There is no deep meaning to why I chose the bed, though there might be a meaning not so deep. Anyway, I just want to talk. Since she can't talk that well, for now, I use this chance for a sort of rehabilitation and discuss various things with her. We barely know anything about each other, but there is no need to rush. She finally got out to the light, to a place with lots of people. She must want to chat. That's why we talk, using it as practice. Though she still mostly replies by nodding or shaking her head, she is trying to use words as well. For now, she is quite laconic, with yes, understood sort of replies, but she is doing her best to speak. She seems to be quite delighted with me patting her on the head as she does that, so for now I hold back from touching her in the other places. She finally reached a bright place, so turning off the lights in the room wouldn't be good. I'm doing my best, you know. I'm holding back with all I have. The first thing we discussed was the future, and to be more precise, taming. She is not a monster anymore. It's strange for a person to be tamed by another person, so it should be lifted. A person shouldn't be bound by a skill meant to control monsters. The bitches aside, they probably aren't even humans, so the skill classified them as monsters, which is reasonable considering how scary they are. Or rather, I can't lift it? Apparently, it can't be arbitrarily canceled by the tamer? I told her that she is free, that she can remove the taming and do what she couldn't do until now, go where she couldn't, return to where she was unable to, do whatever her heart tells her. I told her that she can do whatever she wants, and explained that even without taming on her, I'd help her out with anything. I did, but she shook her head with tears welling up in her eyes, looks me right in the eyes, and frantically repeated, "I don't want to." I thought that she probably didn't understand me and tried to go over it again, over and over, but she just kept shaking her head no matter how many times I do it. Since it seems like she was about to really burst into tears, I asked, "Then let's leave things as they are until you want to cancel it on your own?" To which she energetically nodded with a smile. She was alone all this time. There must be no one she knows left in this world. So she probably wants some sort of connection with someone, even if it comes from something as terrible as taming. So it's fine if things stay this way a bit more. It might not be fine in terms of my affection rating, but I'm pretty sure at this point it's so low that it won't budge from something so trivial. And even if it were to fall, chances are it is already at rock bottom, so it must be okay. Can this be called okay, though? The next question was why she resigned from being a skeleton. Can you even resign from that? Even if you do, would you return to being human because of that? But Armored Prez-san actually has a splendid record of resigning from the posts of Dungeon Emperor, Lich, No-Life King, and Dullahan. A long history of evading responsibilities, so it might not be that strange if she were to slack her way out of being a skeleton. Struggling with words and helping herself with gestures, she explained bit by bit how and what happened. And then the reason, the cause, and the culprit became apparent. All mysteries were revealed, verification completed, the missing link established, and the last piece of the puzzle discovered. The reason, the cause, and the culprit was none other than I. Wait, what? Well, as obvious as it may sound, people cannot come back from the dead and undead. On top of having only a soul, they are also cursed, so they cannot come back to life as well. They cannot be revived. impossible, or so they say. Originally, a skeleton is possessed bones, which move through the power of soul and magic. But when she was given full silver armor, complete immunity, enhance all, skill guardian, ? Cursed, fuses with flesh, the armor fused with the flesh part of the soul, and the magic power merging into one. Then, when she was giving blessed bangle, alleviate curses and misfortune can only be equipped once. The curse was lifted, and she regained her flesh. Though still dead, but she now had the soul, the bones, and flesh. And then there apparently was some guy that gave her Jewel of Necromancy, controls life and death, instant death resistance. Well, trying to control life and death in such a state, she is bound to come back to life. There is no way anything else could happen. Who was that guy? And it seems he even gave her Ring of Pilgrimage, luck up greater, brings good fortune, wards away bad fortune. That would revive her for sure. Yup, that's our culprit. Yeah, that's me? All of the items, with the exception of the swords and mantle, worked together to bring forth a miracle. It seems she is grateful to me for that, but it has nothing to do with me or luck. The very fact that such peculiar items were all gathered in that dungeon is a miracle in of itself. So that must have been inevitable. It's not like I did anything. All of those items were there for Angelica-san's sake, waiting for her all that time. That's why all of the unique treasures, the likes of which one wouldn't be able to find even after searching the whole world, were gathered in the same dungeon. Then it's an inevitability. She began crying when I said that, but such coincidences are impossible, and if it's impossible, then it's inevitability. That's why it wasn't a place for her to die such a sad death all alone. She cried for a very long time. She must have been unable to cry until now, no matter how painful, bitter, empty, lonely, or sad she felt. Until now, she couldn't shed a single tear and didn't even have anyone to lean on, so she cried a lot. She cried as if she was trying to cry out all of her sorrow. She finally can cry when she feels like crying, so she should cry as much as she wants. After that, Armored Prez-san wanted to hear about me, so I told her our story. That we came from a completely different world from this one, about meeting that old geezer in the White Room, about getting garbage skills, about living in the cave on my own, about my first fight, about how I ate nothing but mushrooms, how the geeks and gobs were annoying by making noises in the middle of the night, how I started fighting with the staff, how I joined up with the girls and had to live in the tent, how we wandered through the forest trying to reach the town, about our life in the town after we finally found it, about the ground-stomping trend among the local nobles, about how stupid the idiots are, and about the story of how I didn't die when I was heading for death, how I then went to the dungeon, fell down, and met her. About everyone. I told her everything. Talking about it like this makes it sound like all of it happened a long time ago. It's only been a month, but without me noticing, it now felt like something that happened years ago. For some reason, she appeared angry when I spoke about whatever-kun, crying but angry. This reminds me, when I came back, the girls were also angry and crying. I feel like they are always angry at me. But since everyone is smiling now and we even got one extra person, it's fine, right? Or rather, I'm not to blame here. And as it got late, we gradually grew tired of talking, so after doing the deed, we went to sleep. After going at it to the point of complete exhaustion, I'm a high school boy. What did you expect?